Hello vinyl community, I'm back to do another quick video. I know my first one was just a few hours ago, but the whole reason why I started to make videos was to be an active part of the vinyl community. So having said that, it's been cool to see some responses to my account so far. One of the new accounts that I just discovered is Dr. October. And watching his videos, I saw that his most recent one was that he had a response to A to Z Vinyl Haven's video. It was a thread about the artists that you have the most of in your collection. So I thought, okay, well that's a nice and easy one that I can put a response together quickly. So I'm about to show you the artists that I have the most of in my collection, and I'll make sure that I put the link to both A to Z's Vinyl Haven's account in the comment box and Dr. October's. So having said that, the artist that I have the most of in my collection is Mr. John Lee Hooker. I've got close to 40 albums of his in my collection, so that's what I'm going to showcase today. It's actually sort of a coincidence that John Lee Hooker is also the artist that got me into the blues. So this was the first true blues traditional blues album that I ever purchased. I purchased it at Pop Culture Vulture in Oakville, Ontario. I walked in and this was in the new arrivals bin. The store itself had just been opened for a couple months, and I was one of the first customers in there. So this was on my first visit I saw this. So it's the best of John Lee Hooker. And when I had found it, I wasn't sure what I had found. I loved the cover. I recognized some of the songs, and it really stood out to me. So I thought, okay, it's the right price, I'll pick it up, and I can officially call myself a blues man. So this is on the VJ label, the Rainbow VJ label. There it is there. So this, like I said, this had some songs on it that I recognized. Dimples, Boogie Chillin', Boom Boom, I'm in the Mood, Crawlin' King Snake, so of course some blues standards for sure. So the rest of them are going to be in chronological order. I'll show them as they were released. So the next one is John Lee Hooker, The Country Blues. This is on the Blue Riverside label. Love that Riverside label. Of course, it's known mostly for jazz, but John Lee Hooker did release his first album on Riverside. The next one is The Folklore of John Lee Hooker. Quite interesting. Back in those days, black artists weren't prominently featured on their own album covers. So sometimes, like on this one, there's the VJ label, you'll get that sort of that abstract painting. You know, we were allowed to listen to black music, but they weren't always allowed to be on the front cover, which is awful. So there's that one. This was a big find for me. I've been looking for this for a while. It Serves You Right to Suffer by John Lee Hooker on the Impulse label. This is a Netherlands pressing. Impulse. Of course, Impulse is known for their beautiful covers. This is in a gatefold. Let's open that up. It's got a picture of him singing and a nice little write-up. There's the back of it there. The next one on VJ, Burnin' by John Lee Hooker. Black VJ label. Next up is John Lee Hooker, House of the Blues. This one is on the Chess International label. That orange chess label. Trying to think if this is Walkin' the Boogie. That's one of my favorite tracks on this album. Walkin' the Boogie. Next up is the classic the Real Folk Blues of John Lee Hooker. Of course, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, they all had albums of the same title. The Real Folk Blues collection. This is on the Chess Gradient label. Next up is a live album from John Lee Hooker. John Lee Hooker, Concert at Newport. This is on VJ as well. Next is The Big Soul of John Lee Hooker. Again on that rainbow VJ label. Now we're getting into the later period of John Lee Hooker. You can see him in his later days. John Lee Hooker, Mr. Lucky. Love that cover, love that guitar. On Silvertone. This one is really well produced, really well recorded. It's got Albert Collins, Ry Cooder, Booker T. Jones, Van Morrison, Keith Richards, Carlos Santana, and Johnny Winter all on it. So that's a really well put together, well represented album. And last but not least, I have to talk about, being a soul man, I have to talk about John Lee Hooker's release. That's where it's at on the Stax label. There's the cover. And there's that yellow Stax label. So yeah, so that's my John Lee Hooker collection. That's my response to the thread started by A to Z Vinyl Haven. Yeah, so John Lee Hooker is probably the most prominent in my collection. I hope you liked the video. Like I said, I switched cameras, so I was happy to see that there's a little bit of an improvement in the visual. It doesn't look like I'm filming my videos using a potato anymore. So yeah, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks, guys.